Welcome back to the Lighthead Online Video Show. This episode of the show is sponsored by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com. Hot and heavy in the Keystone State, Pennsylvania. What's up, Greg?
So we have done a podcast with somebody who is new in lighting, recently, and they had a lot of questions for us, or he had a lot of questions for us, and we didn't quite finish them. And now we're saying, all right, let's break it down a little. So we're gonna for the next couple of months at least grab a couple of questions as they come through, and just talk about them. So
Yeah, I always like the guys that when we interview people that have like a sales experience in lighting. It adds something to it. So I can understand why people want to ask us questions. I can understand that.
sure, yeah, it's people that are in the street. They might listen to this, and then they're
Sure.
also out selling light bulbs like you and I are doing every day. So the first question here is, what do you find most interesting to learn in lighting? Why don't you go ahead and go first, and then I can dive.
For me, the spirituality of lighting is the most interesting thing to me. Where the science meets the metaphysical. For me, that's very, very, very interesting to me, and oftentimes we'll cross that boundary. Heinrich Clausen is one person that jumps in my head right away, who's like that as well. He crosses into that territory, the metaphysical, the idea that the primordial nature of human life as it relates to light. Deborah Burnett's another person that, there's people out there that don't like Deborah Burnett. I happen to think that she's deeply knowledgeable, and what they're sacrificing is that they don't like this. They don't like the spiritual side. And I think Deborah doesn't like it either when I talk about it. But that's what she's referring to in some ways, is that our relationship to light from a metaphysical perspective. That's the most interesting point to me. And I love it when I have a chance to explore it on the show.
Good. Well, you answered that a lot better than I could. I was just going to say it's very similar in terms of I like to know how lighting interacts with people. Like how it actually affects us. Like what does it do to our daily routine? The circadian thing that we've blown out of proportion, talked about all the time, but in a way we need to, because it's so interesting in where it could go. And just the fact of how much it affects us and everything we do. Different colors, lighting, different light output, times a day, sources, different sources of lighting, kind of everything along with that. Because, at the end of the day, why do we like to learn about this? Maybe because then we can sell it.
It used to be that for me. It used to be that for me, but it changed when Jennifer Veach and I were sitting and talking with, you were on the remote and her and I were across from one another. And it kind of occurred to me that light to humans is like water to fish. We're really just figuring out that we're in it. And then when Deborah Burnett talked about us being aware of light when our eyes are closed and when the sun is on the other side of the earth, and there's something way more than we've going on than we've even come close to figuring. The whole diurnal versus nocturnal species thing, like we haven't even begun to. We've just kind of figured out that we're not above the idea of that we're not nocturnal. Like that's so obvious, but it takes Dr. Figueroa's research to come out and say, guess what? You're not nocturnal. It's not good for you. Like nobody would have said that 15 years ago. Nobody would have even thought that.
Yeah. And what's interesting is there's not really another lighting or an industry, another industry or business type like lighting. Is there anything that relates or anything that's even close to the impact that it has on us and it's a business and all of that? I'm trying to think.
No, there's nothing like it. There's nothing else like it. I mean, it's at once science and spirituality. We're creatures of the light. I mean, there's so much in lighting that, like lighting is not even the right word. There's almost like a holistic centeredness to this that starts with fire, starts with the sun and then goes into fire and then goes into consciousness, then goes into light bulbs and then, disenchanting the night. And this kind of idea of the Midsummer Night's Dream is evaporating away, and then now we want to recapture that in our world with dark sky, and we want to recapture that. Like all the movement is towards darkness, is towards the darkness, reestablish the darkness. That's so fascinating to me. It's like everything is that we need darkness. What is darkness? Darkness is the absence of light. No, it's not the absence of light. The light is darkness is light too. Like that's so what? What are you talking about? No, darkness affects you too, like light does. You need darkness. And the world needs darkness. The earth needs darkness. There's too many fires going in the world. You know what I mean? It's like, and those, like all this light is like fire in a way, right? So, and it's blinking, it's flickering fire. You don't want that flickering. Like, there's all these issues in lighting, and they're so deep, and they're also very shallow at times too. So like the idea that darkness is a lighting play. That's mind blowing to me.
Yeah, it is. Another question, and you might have kind of answered it, but which emerging market do you feel is going to be the most beneficial for humans in 5 years between circadian lighting, UV disinfectant, horticulture, and connected lighting?
Well, I think connected lighting is a part of all three of those. Yeah, the first three. So right. So connected lighting is kind of a part of that whole thing.
Yeah, I think the word connected is, and that's exactly what I was going to say without any pre-discussion between us. Is I think the word connected, they probably mean more like smart lighting, but in a way it is still associated with that, or controls or whatever. Everybody talks about controls, but really to me it is kind of encapsulating everything, right? Your circadian UV, which also affects
I think what's
a
going to emerge over time, I think what's going to emerge is that electric light cannot provide anything healthy. It can only not hurt you. Like the best in class electric light is non-offensive at its best. There's no way to, recreate it's not possible to do on a mass scale affordably. Like they might do it, like say at CERN in Switzerland. The Large Hadron Collider has created a lighting system which matches the rays of the noon sky daylight or whatever, right? I mean, maybe that could happen. But I mean, from LEDs or whatever, no, dude. Mass-produced LEDs in China now match the variance of the sun's rays. And so, not only that, though, but they have moons revolving around them at the same time. It's like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? So the circadian idea like that, Dr. Figueroa, I think Heinrich Cloud, we're talking about a cup of coffee or not in a best case scenario with circadian, right? Like that's what it is, a cup of coffee or something. You have, obviously the Alzheimer's patients, there was real gains there. But we're talking about general lighting in an office here. Can you make it healthy? Yes, more light during the day, whatever. But I mean, is it going to be a big play? I don't think so. UVC, I think if UVC really, really takes off, I don't think it's a lighting thing. I do think lighting people can be involved in it. I just don't see. I think the real thing that binds all the ring that binds those things together is this connected idea. And I think it'll be interesting to see if information can really flow over light. I think the bigger thing is Li-Fi, or wherever Li-Fi starts to go. That's really fascinating. If we can actually pass information through the ether, if we even need wires anymore, or if we need like anything, I think that the idea of light being connected, itself being connected, not the driver. You understand what I'm saying? Not the driver, but the light itself being connected somehow. That's where I think things get really cool and powerful. I think you're into something spiritual there again, where you're connecting into really what is the universe. I think if we can figure out what light is, we can solve a lot of problems. Yep.
Good luck doing
problems. That. Yeah. Well, I think in light is energy. Right? So like, I mean, if you believe in fossil fuels, which is, hey, there's theories. I mean, everyone says all that gas is from old forests from the past. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about that, actually. That oil comes from trees. I think maybe the earth produces oil. Maybe it's got something to do with plate tectonics. And the crushing of those plates together in the earth produces oil, and it flows up into Saudi Arabia. Like, I'd like to see if, like, those oil wells in Saudi Arabia refill at all. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see that. But anyway, light is energy, right? So think about it like light, something with light is hanging onto the earth and whipping it around the sun at 14,000 kilometers an hour. And while that's happening, the moon is going around the earth. And it's like trapped there by light. Light is holding it there. And then it's burning the earth with all this stuff, and then energy is made, and then plants are growing, and the moon, the tides are pulling the water across the earth and then letting it go. The moon lets it go and then comes around. Right? Like, all this stuff that's happening is light. Right? That's what light is doing. Oh, no, it's not. It's gravity. It's waves of shit that we don't understand, buddy. And light is one of those waves of things that we don't understand. And gravity is one of those waves that we don't understand. Why are these things holding themselves in together? You know what was really weird? We'll save it for the Biz Blast. Folks, this has been the Keystone Show. That's right. Actually, it is. The Light Ted Online Video Show is the Keystone Show. It really is. They sponsored it from day one. They jumped on it. Man, what a great sponsor they've been. What a great supporter. We're very appreciative of them. Go to KeystoneTech.com. That's KeystoneTech.com.